Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Shirtless Plantain Show. Today we're going to hand out some awards. And you have myself, Tosin, alongside Coach and Dean. How did we pick this? Well, we're dictators. That's how we picked it. No, we came up with a bunch of lists and different categories, and we voted individually, and we combined it. Correct? Correct. So we're going to start this off by going out into our best 11 team of the our best 11 of the year. So 2024. Let's do this. Drum roll, please. We have Allison Gold.
Then this nigga said drum roll, please, and just started talking. You're terrible. You're terrible. Terrible.
I'm going to
All
make edit play. I don't know how to follow instructions.
Yeah, there you go.
We have Allison in goal, Carvajal right back, Saliba and Rudiger as your center backs, DeMarco as your left back, Rodri, Bellingham, and Verts, and then up front is Saka, Haaland, and Vinicius Jr. We do have some honorables. Bastoni, Tony Cruz, Martin Odegaard, Lamine Yamal, Gabriel, Kane, Dean. This
Marmadashvili.
There we go.
Got you, bro.
I would never say that guy's name properly. And Mohamed Salah. He's ended 2024 like a man on fire. Shout out to the hairline transplant. But yeah.
Can I just say, if anybody wants to cry about this list, I promise you there's people out there that will listen to you, just not us.
Well, I will. I don't have anything to do right now. So if you want to send some hate mail,
there you go.
Send it to Coach, what's your email again?
Is
there any surprises here? Anything that you guys want to talk about? Any players?
I'll be real, I would be happy to omit Haaland for Salah. Swap them around. That would be my only change, I think.
It feels a bit recency biasy, but honestly, I also feel as if Harry Kane, even though he didn't win a trophy, he was just so consistent with scoring because that's what a striker is supposed to do. Mm-hmm. Another option there, who we didn't even mention in our honorables, is Robert Lewandowski.
Yeah,
like I think from a pure number standpoint, he's probably been the best 9, at least the second half of the year at Barcelona. So there are options, but I think ultimately we can't be mad at Haaland being in there. Mbappe isn't anywhere. How do we feel about that? He did score 42 goals for PSG last season.
I think it's more a victim of his own standards. So it's more of that. It's not that. Like, let's make no mistake about it. Mbappe is better than pretty much everybody in our team, or even the honorables kind of thing. It's just a matter of you haven't hit the standards that we thought you could and should have. Basically, I know you got your face broken during the year. Was it the year? You got his face broken during the Euros as well. Like, so but it is what it is, man. Like, you can't convince me that he's had a better 2024 than Mohamed Salah or Vinicius Jr. So
And I guess one more question, Tosin. Did we pick Alisson because he was the best this year, or because he's just been the best for so long and Courtois got hurt, so we're just like,
That and also fuck Emi Martinez. So
genuinely fuck Emi Martinez. Yeah,
he's the most overrated footballer on the planet. Seriously, I can't stand that nigga.
The one person I'm very glad we put here was Federico DeMarco. He deserves his flowers. So.
Yeah, his left foot is genuinely a wand, and his fitness, his athleticism. Yeah, if we're talking about an attacking a wing back or an attacking left back that has stamina and isn't, a crash dummy at the best of times, then we're looking at DeMarco, not Robinson.
And I have one more question for both of you.
Go on.
I did the collating, and I was looking at your best 11s.
Yeah.
And neither one of you picked Florian Wirtz. Why is that?
I'll be honest with you, I just don't feel him like that in that regard. Well, this year I haven't anyway. I just always
he literally played for Leverkusen. They lost one game last season.
I know. But you see, my bias is I love Africans, bro. And I'm not going to have him. If I can't have Musiala, then I'm sorry. I'm not going to have him. Nah, I'm sorry.
Well, you should have put Musiala in.
Yeah, well, didn't I? I thought I didn't.
You didn't.
Damn.
I would have kept him. I do like the black people.
I'll just say this. There's a lot of football to remember, okay?
There's that as well. There is that as well.
Hey, you bitch-ass niggas. Nobody asked us to do this. We chose to do this.
That is true.
There's not enough football. Now let's get back to the football.
Managers. We have Xabi Alonso, Gasperini, Simone Inzaghi, Carlo Ancelotti, and Pep Guardiola. 3 Italians, fellas. They cook at the tactics.
Yeah. I think it's long standing that Italian coaches have been kind of the standard bearers.
Coverciano.
For a good while now. And obviously you got the Spanish contingent who are not that far behind them. But I just think Italian coaches, they're the shit, man. Like I don't know. You look at the variety of coaches as well and how they coach as well. Like Gasperini and Inzaghi are not the same, not even in the slightest. There's nothing similar about them other than the fact that they play free at the back.
At the back and their teams wear black and blue, but otherwise the rotations are different. You know, like
everything's different. Yeah.
It's what makes Serie A so interesting to watch every week. You know, because every manager has very clear ideas about what they want to do, and it's nice that the very elite also reflects the fact that Italians are very innovative. Yeah. But it does beg the question: how come their teams aren't winning the Champions League? How come their players aren't really dominating the transfer market? It's a very interesting phenomenon that they're at the coaching level, they're elite, but at the player level, it's a little shakier. You know?
Maybe they need to cook up more pasta. I don't know.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with more carbs, baby. More carbs.
You know what's crazy? Inzaghi had Mkhitaryan as a center back for one phase of the game the other day, and I was just like, "You're a sick man."
That's the thing. If you watch enough Inter, that's not anything out of the ordinary.
No, it's not. But I'm just saying that he's a sick man. That's all I'm saying.
I think just on that tactic in general, I just think Inzaghi's very much okay with if I can get the ball from our half to your half in one pass, and I don't have to disorganize my team to do that. We're going to do that basically. So you can imagine Mkhitaryan sees a pass into Thuram or what's his name?
Lautaro
with the shit haircut. Sorry, yeah. Kind of thing. If they get a goal out of that, he's fine because he's still got his defensive shape. He's like, okay, we got a goal, so let's go again. That's very much how I think Inzaghi likes to manage. And you look at the most creative hubs of his team, kind of thing, Bastoni and DeMarco, and then you got the final ball masters in midfield, kind of thing. While what's his name? Barella likes running behind, kind of thing. He can still play a final pass off kind of thing. So he's you put like this, compare him to Gasperini now, and you don't even know where the fuck what's his name gonna pop up from. Lookman's gonna pop up from you. You couldn't even tell me. I couldn't tell you. Kind of thing.
I will say this much. I know we ranked it with Xabi Alonso at the top, given what his team achieved this year. But I will say of these 5 managers that we've looked at, and if we actually expand the consideration period over, say, 3 years, 5 years, I'll say Inzaghi's system seems to be the most durable one because he's been doing this for a while, and no one has really figured out a way to, sort of stop it. If that makes any sense, I'd say the closest we've come to it is, Pep and Arteta both essentially locking Inter into their halves for games, for full games, but still not winning the game. Well, Arteta didn't win, but Pep won, and it was that Rodrigo that won them Champions League last year. But for the most part, no one has really figured out Inzaghi's system. I think the bravery that allows a manager to say, you know what, I don't mind having a slight midfielder play as my center back for a phase of the game, as long as we fill in all the other spaces and we're attacking. Yeah. It's something to reckon with. You really can't. I personally can't think of solutions to breaking that down besides just having the ball, basically.
I think the key thing here with him as well is just patience. He might be the most patient coach in Europe. Like, genuinely, he might be I know when Inter play at home, they like to force the issue a bit, kind of thing, but Inzaghi is the one coach in this list that you just know he's happy to win 1-0 38 times out of the season. He couldn't give a shit. He just couldn't. It's like, well, I'm winning games, aren't I? Kind of thing. Yeah. We're not giving up chances. Right? All right, cool. Let's go again next week, kind of thing. That's what that matters. And whereas, the other coaches, they like to put a little bit of pizzazz on their shit,
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it works. Let's look at the best 5 clubs. Leverkusen, Atalanta, Real Madrid, Bologna, and Bournemouth. Question for you, both of you. Which of Bologna and Bournemouth were more impressive to you, and why?
Do you want to go first, Dean?
Sure. Thank you. I will go with Bologna because I just think the size of their achievement was bigger than what Bournemouth have done so far this season, even though Bournemouth have been very impressive. And I do think, we saw the sort of like the proof of the validation of Thiago Motta's methods in that, his best players got transfers to bigger clubs. He himself as a manager went to Juventus. On the other hand, Bournemouth, and this is not a criticism, what they do is essentially they remind me a bit of when Bielsa brought Leeds to the Premier League, and he was sort of the only one doing this whole 1v1 pressing all over the field thing, and it was just a different thing from everybody else was doing, and no one really got used to it for like a full season or two before they figured it out, and they eventually went back down. I think Bournemouth are kind of similar to that in that it's a style that can work at a mid-table level and surprise people for a while, but I don't know that Iraola can use that system at a club like, say, United or Chelsea or it's not going to work.
That's the thing. That style is tailor made for teams playing one game a week. That's the issue there. Like, so he's fighting, like, and I think he's smart enough to know that as well. Like, he knows, look, we're Bournemouth. We're not playing in Europe. You know what I'm saying? Like, our December and January schedule is our schedule for the whole season anyway. Like, it's one game a week regardless, kind of thing. So he knows he can get Semenyo to literally track his man for 90 minutes. Doesn't matter to him. Doesn't matter to him because he's going to have another 6 days to recover for that anyway. So, but just on saying that, the reason why I feel like Bournemouth, I wouldn't say it's more impressive than Bologna, but it deserves a mention, is the fact that they only give you 1,000 tickets for the away fans, bro. Their stadium is tiny. They ain't got money. No, I'm joking. But yeah, like, put it like this: there is, how many of those Bournemouth players in general do you think could make a good career right now at their current level at a top 6 club? So let's go through how many of their defenders.
More than you think.
How many of their defenders, guys?
Senesi is good. Kirkes is good.
Okay.
Hoyson is going to play at Real Madrid someday.
Yes.
I will say this. I will say this at the current level. Kirkes to me is the only one right now at his current level. I'm like, okay, you could do a job in the top 6 team, right? Let's go to their midfield.
Midfield is their weakest area of the pitch.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Christie,
they have Lewis Cook and some other content there.
Christie, Cook. Can we count Kluivert? Not Kluivert.
No,
sorry.
Not really.
Who's the guy that plays behind? Yeah, Kluivert. Yeah, no, actually, no, you're right. Actually, because Kluivert does play behind, but yeah. Okay. Again, there isn't much there, right? And then we look at their wingers and their attackers now. Really and truly, right now, it's probably only Semenyo. So with that being said,
Evan Nelson was a Champions League player before he got there. Like, just because he stepped down a level doesn't make him a lesser player all of a sudden.
That is true, actually. So we're looking at 2. So if we're being honest, right? Out of that whole entire team, we've picked up like 4 or 5 guys that will say right now they can make a good career at top 6 club, kind of thing. That's the point I'm making. He's getting a lot more out of these players. Like, he's getting a ton out of these players. That's why I think it's really impressive. And on top of that as well, just tactically, Iraola could himself easily coach one of the top 6 clubs, not just in the Premier League, in Europe.
I don't know. I think he has a bit too much of the Emery's about him. I think aura is important. We saw it with Ten Hag. He showed up and was talking all that shit, and no one really believed him because he just ain't got it. I feel like Iraola has that same Emery dour, I used to be a vampire thing going on.
Maybe his body language and his gait, maybe, I suppose, but his teams do it on the pitch, is what I'm saying. Whereas Ten Hag will talk all that shit, and then you've got literally the space between fucking Nigeria and London, between your midfield and defense. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, he'll talk all that shit. Whereas Iraola doesn't really talk shit like that, but his teams, you actually see it on the pitch every single week. They all run the hell out of him for this guy. Like, they really do. So yeah.
I enjoyed Bologna just because it was so refreshing to see Thiago Motta, like the nerd on the pitch, translating to the nerd as the coach. So that was really impressive. And like, he got some really good, like, hipster-ass players, like Calafiori's now Arsenal. I like John Lukumi still. So it's just like, even Xerxes, even though it's not looking good him at United, like, he's got the best out of these players. You know, they're looking good. So I like the way he was playing at Bologna. They impressed me a lot, you know, especially watching Serie A week in and week out. I was like, whoa, this is fun. This is refreshing. Obviously, Juventus is a whole nother kettle of fish, but they did well. You know, he did well over there. So that's why I enjoyed that. We look at some individual performances. Ademola Lookman versus Leverkusen. I mean, this is the first hat-trick in the European final since 1975, 1976, something like that. So that goes without saying. And at that point, Bayer Leverkusen were undefeated. So I don't think most people expected Bayer Leverkusen to lose that game. I think everybody went into that thinking, you know what, this is going to be a foregone conclusion in a way. And Lookman was just like, wait, hold on a second. I got something for you 3 times. So that's a very impressive performance from him. So the finishes were amazing too. So top of that.
Yeah, he had a good game for sure.
Yeah, Rudiger versus Man City, the second leg. That was a man possessed. When Rudiger is when Rudiger is playing like Rudiger is a very scary human being because he enjoys it. Like he genuinely enjoys ruining your day. He doesn't care about anything else, and he's doing this in Under Armour boots too.
Like, so both of you guys picked this performance, which is why it made the final list. But I don't actually think it was one of the best 3 performances we saw last year. If anything, his teammate in goal in that game, Andre Lunin, had a better game than he did, I thought, because City had a lot of shots. If Rudiger had a great game, City would not have had any shots, but
I want to just counter the fact that centre-backs' jobs aren't primarily to always stop shots. They're like the last line before they do kind of thing. Their job really is to make them take the lowest quality shot basically possible. And if they block it or they make them pass it, then that's even better kind of thing. So I just want to carry
them shots was quality though. Them shots was quality. You remember?
Black.
Hey,
no, I just want to say that genuinely Rudiger's performance then to me showed a lot of things. Like he wasn't particularly at his best even physically, but that guy was a pest. He kept on going, and you could see like, funny enough, I watched the game back after because at the time I think we played Bayern Munich at the same time, kind of thing. But I watched the game back, and he as you do normally, he never stops talking. He just kept on going. He never stopped talking, organizing, all that shit, knowing that they're in a hostile territory, knowing that the year before they got absolutely battered by them as well, and that shit didn't even come to his mind. Like water for ducks back. Like when you're talking about real leadership, there can't fault him honestly.
Yeah. Then we also had Sancho versus PSG in the first half. I don't know how this made it because I wasn't going to put no Sancho there, but yeah, that was there.
Yeah, it happened. I mean, I know everyone's memories don't go beyond the length of a goldfish's life, but do we remember the black on black violence that was inflicted on Nuno Mendes?
Yeah, I remember. I just chose not to bring it up.
That shit was intense. It made me think Jadon Sancho was for real coming back. And while he's made a fist of his career after that, by moving to Chelsea, he's been better there than he was at United. The bar was very, very fucking low. And I think that came out of nowhere and it surprised everybody. And I remember he was on the cover of our pod that week. We couldn't stop talking about him. We thought we'd gotten the player back. And, he's had some moments since then. But that performance was, I think, what they call a tour de force in Hollywood or, a casting couch. I don't know what. Sorry about the Hollywood shit. I'm just saying Jadon Sancho was amazing in that game. And unfortunately, I have to give a quick shout out to Matt Hummels as well because he was pretty good because PSG did have their moments. But every time it seemed like that moment was going to become a goal, Matt Hummels was there to be like, no. But great performances. And I think just generally, and I'm stepping on Tosin's line here, I think we have to give a general round of applause to Vinicius Jr. Because he had a lot of good performances. I just didn't think any one of them stood out so much above some of the other ones. I can think of a couple, but he just had a great year. Probably would have won the Ballon d'Or if we did the voting for that. But shout out to him. But our top 3 were Lookman, Rudiger, and Sancho.
Most improved players: Charles de Ketelaere. Wonderful comeback story from him. His story at Milan, it didn't do too hot. Now he's the man at Atalanta. So CDK deserves his flowers. Most improved players. Another one, Tajani Rangers. He was good, but he's even better. So, and a wonderful name too. We love that. And Omar Mamouche, slow grind. Coming to a bubble. He's finally become one of the best players in his position in the world, and he has a wonderful name, Mamouche. We love that name. So those are
come on, coach, say it.
Fine, Mamouche.
There you go. Everybody gets some Mamouche. We all Mamouche together.
Our favorite narratives and agendas. Saka is the benchmark. That's not even a narrative or agenda. That's just a straight up fact.
It's just a fact. It feels like, yeah.
No. Do you know why it is a narrative? It's because anybody that has, that wakes up in the morning, has their cup of tea. Oh yeah, he's better than Saka now. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Chris Wood better than Saka.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's why it was my favorite because like so many people told themselves and they didn't know. They didn't even know they was telling on themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just didn't know it, but they thought they were doing something by saying, "Oh yeah, but he's better than Saka as well." It's like, okay, fine, I suppose. I guess. Who else is? You know what I'm saying? Nobody's saying, "Oh, yeah, this player is better than Cole Palmer, or this player's better than Phil Foden whenever someone, you know what I'm saying? They always jump straight to Saka. Why is that? That's why I've stopped, you know, quote unquote, getting out my sword and shield for Saka for a long time now, because it's been obvious for so long now, and everybody else kind of just does the work for us now. You know what I'm saying? Like without them even knowing it. That's what makes it so funny. Like,
pretty much every time you bring the motherfucker up, it's because he's on your mind. Why is he on your mind? Because he's good as fuck, and you know it. You're trying to be a troll. You're trying to fuck with Arsenal fans, which is fine, because honestly, I can't stand Arsenal fans either.
Yeah.
But Bukayo Saka is fucking amazing. And get well soon, little man.
Yeah,
or
man.
big man, or whatever the fuck we calling you these days, because he's nobody little homie anymore. He is the big homie at Arsenal, at least. I'll give him that.
Man City's players affected by the case. Yeah, man, they are going through it, man. They're going through it. It must be a virus in Manchester or something.
Can I just ask, generally, guys, do you reckon, because obviously we're talking about the verdict is going to be what, next year, right?
Yeah, right.
We say next year, like it's not just a couple of days.
Apparently it's already done. We're not going to find out about it until next year.
Yeah, so, and here's my thing. Do you genuinely think the players have been informed? Like, genuinely, guys, do you think they've been informed?
I don't think so, because that would definitely have leaked by now. You can't have that many people keeping a secret.
Yeah, that is true.
But I do think, you know, they work. It's a workplace, you know, like the players have their part of the building, the executives have their part of the building, the coaches have their part of the building, but they all intermingle. And I would have to think that they've taken hints from the atmosphere, or the energy, you know, like for instance, Chicky Burger is Stan leaving. It's like, why do you leave why do you leave now? Like, why do you leave so I'm sure, I mean, it's only human nature. If I'm a player at City, I'm probably thinking to myself, maybe shit ain't gonna go the way we want it to go. You know,
but not even just that. You reckon if some of them are thinking about their futures, like genuinely, like that's what I think it is more than anything. Because usually when players start to underperform, kind of thing, it's because they're not focused a lot of the time. These are top level athletes that are really good at what they do, kind of thing, and the fine margins normally come down to shit like focus and your mentality and shit like that. And I just generally feel like a lot of these players have got one eye out the door, potentially one eye out the door. That's what my thing is.
It's possible. I'll say this much though. They've been very humble of late, so.
What do you think, man?
I hate my team. Hansi Flick and Barca's Highline. That was one of our favorite agendas, because, boy, they were looking good, and all of a sudden Dean caught it out. Next thing you know, the shipping goes left, right, and center. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're done for, because, you know, if you've had the opportunity to watch a lot of their latest performances, like the last 3 losses, I think they've had like 3 home losses in a row. They were mostly the better team in those games, especially the Atleti game where they got robbed at the end, which was hilarious.
Yes.
But it was always, because I think when Flick won, was it the treble with Bayern? Is that what he did?
Yeah.
That was COVID season. I think, you know, the game was more contained. There was less travel. You know, the conditions were just different. So for me, it made sense to me that a Highline could work for the half season that he got the team, because he also got the team during the season. He didn't get them from the beginning of the season. Like someone got fired, then he came in. I think it was Niko Kovac. I think that got fired, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
So now he's had that half season. People have the tape, you know, so at a bare minimum, they have a better idea of how to hurt Barcelona now. Doesn't mean Barcelona are going to be bad all of a sudden, but the teams they're also facing up against in La Liga right now are teams that have also won the league before, that have experienced players that have won things, you know. So it was looking like it was going to be a cakewalk for them back when we started talking about this Highline not being all that people were saying it was. But I take a lot of joy in us being ahead of the curve on that one, because fuck Lavers and fuck Barcelona.
Just on that, Dani Olmo, what the fuck is happening? They're gonna have to let him go, aren't they?
No, y'all need to get over that shit. Okay, every time you guys think Barcelona is gonna lose a player because of it, doesn't happen, because they just borrow more money against their future.
That is mental.
You know, it's like American credit card debt. Just kick it down the road. You know, it's no big deal. You know, it'll be somebody else's problem in 20 years. You know, so that's what they're doing.
Yeah. Favorite 3 Man United headlines. We'll run through this. Eric Ten Hag won the FA Cup. Dan Asher got fired. Sir Alex's deal with the club got annulled.
I don't know. I would say my favorite of these 3 is the one that has the least to do with Ineos. That's what I would say. So that would be the FA Cup. I think we often, like, things move so quickly in this world, especially in the world of football, where narratives change literally by the game. But winning trophies, and I know Eric Ten Hag frustrated people with pointing to his trophies like an asshole while the team was losing in the league and that. But winning trophies will always be a big deal. There are only 4 trophies your team can win at the beginning of the year. And if you end the year with one of them, like, sure, you want the big 2, Champions League title, but not everybody can win. And the fact that Ten Hag, through all that chaos, managed to win an FA Cup final against a really good team, or a team that used to be really good in Manchester City, it's still worthy of great joy. Like, if United fans, if you guys had a chance to enjoy that moment, go back and watch that tape again and enjoy it again. Because right now, this is why you cherish those moments when you win a trophy. Because right now, shit is ugly. So hop your ass on YouTube, because I know you niggas not going outside. It's cold in Manchester. Hop your ass on YouTube. Go watch that shit that Ten Hag won, and it'll be all good, baby. Like, time is coming. Like, Sir Jim will fix it. He'll fix it all.
Predictions for 2025. I drunkenly said United going to win the Europa League. Why? Because I'm chaotic, and I thought that should be hilarious to just talk about.
So, Coach, what do you think is the percentage on Tosin's prediction, them winning the Europa League?
I'm gonna say 48%.
Tosin, is that high or low?
That's higher than Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
That's higher than you. That's higher than you with these shades on, nigga. Coach, you said Arsenal are going to win a big trophy. Which one?
I still stand by it. I can't. You're asking me. I don't know which one just yet. I just want to be clear on this. We haven't had I haven't been in the Arsenal pod in a while, like proper while. I have to be clear on this. Arsenal.
You've been out there spreading disease.
Yeah. I also have not peaked, guys.
He's a
and the thing is, we haven't been close to peaking this season. We've had really good performances here and there. The scoring 5 away from home and shit. Even the Nottingham Forest game and shit like that. But Arsenal haven't peaked yet. I just feel like we're cooking at a good temperature, and I feel like now we're ready to actually start adding the flavour, and it's gonna come at the business end of the season. So,
oh man, this is the fattest fucking analogy anyone ever did on this show. What would Scott Steiner think of this right now, man? Like, come on, man, be serious, man. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that you're right. I find nothing to disagree with, but I'm also biased like you. We like the same team.
It's not even just about being biased. I just think, like, if you're looking at because let's be honest here, people that come crying and complaining and are upset about shit, they're not really looking at the bigger picture. All they're looking at is final product, and the final product is always, and I mean always, one on fine margins, and that's where Arsenal are at now. I've been saying it for the last 2 years. Arsenal's fate right now is within the fine margins, and that's the best place to be, because sometimes they go through, sometimes they don't. You just have to hope that, if you're near enough to be close to the fine margins, it will fall for you, and that's all we can do. So that's why I say, big trophy, because end of the day, Champions League can be whatever, and you never know. Like, there's going to be some minnows in the latter stages of the Champions League. Why can't Arsenal be amongst them as well? Like, you know what I'm saying? Same way in the Premier League, while Liverpool look imperious right now, all it takes is one game being lost, and you get into February, and now all of a sudden, February, 6 points isn't that much. You see what I'm saying? So, again, it's just fine margins we're talking about. So, I still stand by it, man. Big trophy for Arsenal in 2025. I just don't know which one.
And the last one, PSG go undefeated until they win league on, but lose afterwards.
Yeah, man. It's a very random. I just kind of noticed that we got to the end of the year, and PSG haven't lost on Ligue 1. They have 12 wins and 4 draws. And so they've played pretty much everyone at this point. Then you have the remaining half of the season, and I'm looking at the teams they have to face, and I'm like, I don't see any of these teams beating PSG when it matters. Now, when it doesn't matter anymore, I can see Lille taking points. I can see Monaco beating them. I can see Rennes doing something. But until it actually, for as long as that league matters, I don't see anybody beating PSG. But I also just think they're not going to go invincible, because they're just not serious enough to do that shit. They're just not a serious enough club to do it. So that is my prediction. It's very niche, very random, very relevant, because who really cares about Ligue 1 like that? We do. But that's what I believe will happen in 2025.
Let's round up with our notable events we covered in 2024. January, AFCON. Lookman Shine, Osimhen, Lesso, Ivory Coast was a weird tournament. They fired their coach. and won the tournament. And we collabed on the whistle. Arsenal set piece FC narrative started in January. 2 goals from corners posted by at home when they beat Chris Palace 5-0. Jurgen Klopp announced he's stepping down, and Xavi said he's leaving, but then they said, no, you're staying. So that was a weird time, man. That was very weird. February, Kobe Mainoo started to show he's a real thing. By Leverkusen's incredible season was locked in, and Tuchel, I forgot Tuchel's even at Bayern, but yeah, the chaos got even worse. And Liverpool won the Carabao Cup in February.
Against a £1.5 billion squad with their youth players. Let me remind people of that. Thank you.
In March, Vinny got treated like a black man in Jim Crow era at the Mestalla when they played against Valencia. They abused him racially.
Can I just add on that? Sorry, as well, the guys, at least one of them I know got sent to prison for that as well. At least one of them, I think. So, yeah.
Hey, that's fire, man. We don't do that in America. We can make you a police officer. Klopp and Pep ended their fake rivalry they drew at Anfield. It was cute. They kissed. Arsenal made the quarterfinals of Champions League for the first time in forever, so I know they were happy about that. Proud of you niggas. Endrick scored against England at Wembley, thinking he's Bobby Charlton and Pele at the time.
Too perfect, honestly.
Jesus. We just had such a great time, man. Like, you just going through this, I'm not going to go through everything, but it was just so much wonderful stuff that happened throughout the year, man.
Anyone want to pick out a favorite moment of the year?
Yeah, I think for me personally, Tosin coming back to the pod is one of my favorites. So I've got 2 actually. So Tosin coming back to the pod, and genuinely, like, call it corny, whatever you want, but seeing City being in the state they are right now has just really, really warmed my heart to an extent you guys can't imagine. Like, really, just knowing that there's a subset of their fans that this is unrecognizable to, and they don't know that this is actually more of a regular occurrence in their history than any of the bullshit they've been doing. Like,
can I add to that? I saw a City fan made a thing called "Make City Great Again." They made the old MAGA hats. I'm like, yo.
Oh my goodness! Listen, these last 9 years are an anomaly, guys. They're an anomaly. Get over it. Complete and utter anomaly. Like, don't worry, you'll be back down there where you usually are, so it's fine. But yeah, Tosin coming back and City just being reminded of their rich history has been fantastic for me.
Dean, what about you?
Moment of the year? Well, I'm not going to do anything Arsenal related because I've had a lot of fun in the last, 3-4 seasons. It's been great. I'll say probably Jude Bellingham dominating both Classicos last year. I just thought that was hilarious to just show up and be like, hey, man, I got the biggest dick in the league, man. And no one can say shit to him.
Mine had,
I thought it was great.
I like that. Mine had nothing to do with football. Mine was more so Kendrick decided to be a bully. That was wonderful.
Well, what is the football equivalent of that?
I don't know.
I think it's Bayern 8, Barcelona 2.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Arsenal versus Tottenham, but yeah, I would take that as well. So
nah, man, like we need to get to a point where we stop mentioning those 2 teams in the same sentences.
You're right.
It should never made sense to me. I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria, where I didn't actually know there was a rivalry until I moved to America. So I'm still getting used to this shit, and I don't like it. I know you local niggas got your little beefs or whatever, but
here's the thing.
I'm global. Y'all niggas global.
Here's the thing: is I wouldn't call it a big brother little brother relationship, but that's how it kind of plays out. Where it's just like the little brother in this case every so often thinks that they're the big man, and the big brother's just like, what? Literally, it's just a and that's it.
They had a moment. But because they're Spurs, they threw it away. That was Pochettino.
No, but seriously, my favorite football moment had to be AFCON. That was probably my favorite tournament. AFCON 2024.
In a long time, man.
I wasn't feeling that shit, man. I don't know what the fuck.
Because we didn't win. Yeah, we know.
Well, we didn't win, so I don't know what the fuck we talking about.
What? This is a real patriot, man. Tinubu's got
He's sounding real Chelsea right now. I won't even lie.
Fuck all that. This is a national team tournament. Like, the only thing we want is, like, Nigeria were horrible in that tournament. We played terrorist ball the whole way through.
And it was glorious.
It wasn't it. What? But do you want to watch that shit every week? No. And also, like, it's crazy. Like, the defeat didn't hurt that badly because we didn't deserve to win. I was
Yo,
like, we almost scammed it. We didn't scam it. Next time.
yo, the thing is, you realize how annoying Nigerians were during the AFCON.
Oh man, it was a glorious month of being a dickhead. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have an opportunity to be a Nigerian dickhead as often as I'd like to be, and that was a nice time. That was a very nice time.
Yo, we were pouring water after we beat South Africa singing Tyler Water. Nigerians
Yeah, I can't wait to play them again, genuinely, because they got a little bit too uppity for me. So I want to beat them again and again. So yeah, hope we get them in the next AFCON, man.
we got them World Cup qualifiers next year.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that.
There we go. We're going back to beef. Let's go.
Yeah. So that was 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for rocking with us. 2025, we got a lot more planned. Hopefully the football is even more crazy and we could do more of these because this is fun. Just reminisce and think about what an insane year we've had from January to December. And there's still go.
I have to make a statement to some of our listeners. Around the time of our 500th episode, we did a quiz and some of you guys won. And I promised to send you guys gifts and shit. And you never got your shit. I didn't forget. Life has just been really, really, really tricky lately. But the Christmas rush is over. Your shit not going to get lost in the mail. So next week, your shit going out. So I'm going to hit all of you up and ask you what you want. I'm going to give you options. You're going to pick what you want. I'm going to send it to you. Then you can stop cursing me because I've had a rough couple months, people. Please. Okay? I was just trying to do something nice and y'all motherfuckers are sending me bad vibes. I literally broke my back, people. I broke my back. That's crazy.
Spinal.
Like spinal, nigga. Like, damn. I didn't even run into Bane and I'm spinal out here, man. It's crazy. But thank you so much for rocking with us. It's been great doing this with you guys for another year. I can't think of anyone else I'd rather podcast with. Matter of fact, I don't think I'd ever podcast if you guys didn't exist. So I love you guys so much. And for you motherfuckers that listen, man, God bless y'all, man. We really appreciate it. We really do it for y'all. And then stick with us next year. And as always, tell a friend. Please tell many friends. I'm trying to retire.
Yeah. We're out. Everyone take it easy. Peace.
Hey folks, this is Dean from the Shirtless Plantain Show. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and follow us on all our socials. You can see them right beneath our recordings in every video. Thanks again, and see you on the next one.